Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay, now you can see me. I don't know what happened last time. My husband puts the volume down. In fact, I don't even know what he did with it now. Hello, Dorothy.
Hello.
So getting the gang together.
Okay, I know we're early, so that's fine.
No, just a few minutes, So I
Oh,
have
yeah, you're right.
couple
Time
of things I
flies.
wanted to do. And yes, Denise, did you put visual on? Here's our Denise.
Here I am.
Okay,
I don't see
I
you.
don't see you. Put the camera on.
I was in the bathroom.
Okay,
Oh, my goodness.
there you go.
Unforgivable.
All right, we see everybody. How nice. All right, so what I sent to you was I wanted to do first, this is the first bracha of the Birkat Hamazon. Some people just say Birkat, but Birkat doesn't mean anything. It means blessing of. And the whole name of the grace after meals is Birkat Hamazon, which is what you're supposed to say. Anyway, so have you heard of the organization called Mazon?
Yes.
Okay, so what is that, Francine? You know what that is.
They feed people.
Yeah, it's an organization like any of these food banks. It's a Jewish food bank, Mazon. And so Birkat Hamazon, and it comes from the root of nourishing and supporting and feeding people.
Huh.
So the first word after Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam is Hazan. So I looked up the meaning of some of the words I wasn't sure of, and that means sustains. So Mazon is giving food to sustain hungry people, which
Where is this located?
I think we have it in New York.
Oh, you okay?
Mazon, yeah, it's a Jewish
Yeah,
food
no,
bank.
they send out for donations, I think.
Yeah, well, which is a really good, it's a good organization, it's one of these really, we have quite a few on Long Island. We have 2 or 3 different food banks, and our sisterhood had donated money to each of them. We had made money on a Purim selling Purim baskets. But you know what we did after, we used to, hi Nancy, we used to
Hi.
actually put together baskets of candy and, piece of fruit and stuff like that, and a little thing of wine. Then they found it was getting very expensive. So they said, let's not give the basket. And a lot of people didn't pick up the basket, and they didn't really care. There are people who are diabetic or on diets and stuff. So a lot of the baskets were left over. And it was a waste of money for a lot of them. People didn't pick them up. I picked mine up because I did. But they said, let's just ask people to, we'll have the same system where if you donate to, let's say I donated to all of you, then you would all get a note that said Carol Greenberg donated to local food banks where the money will go on your behalf. Then all the money didn't go to the food banks, but a big chunk of it did. And some of it went to the synagogue, which is, what we do. We raise money for the synagogue. But you got a note that said someone gave a donation for Purim. And the custom for Purim is to send a basket of candy and fruit and like a bottle of some beverage, usually like a little bottle of wine, or as people put in tea bags or a fancy coffee bag or something like that. And you're supposed to put in 50 cents, the chetzi shekel that was in olden times, in ancient times, the donation to the temple. So then you got a list of all the people who donated on your behalf. And then you had a chance, if you wanted to reciprocate. We made more money that way. They made about $6,000. And so we donated heavily to the food banks, and we gave a nice amount, a couple of thousand, to the synagogue. We said, why are we wasting all this energy making these baskets? And a lot of people don't even care for them. Now, when I was teaching the Hebrew school, I had a special class that was the parents to teach them about holidays. And when they were in my class, I said, you have to bring a basket in, and I specified a basket or a plate covered with nice, that paper or whatever. And we'll exchange. So anyway, when we had that, they picked a number, we put all the baskets out and everybody picked a number. And if Nancy picked number 1, she was able to pick any basket she wanted. And I'll tell you, the parents were so joyful with that. They had such a good time. We used to do that in the class too. That was always a fun thing, the shalach manot. So shalach manot are portions of food, and shalach means shalach is sending. L'shloach is the verb, sending portions of food. And that at the end of the Megillah, which we will study about another month in March, that is how they were celebrating, of sending portions of food to friends. And usually it's other Jewish friends celebrating that we're still alive, and Haman didn't get us and the king didn't get us. And thank you, Esther, you did a good thing for us. So they had rejoicing. And that rejoicing in a Jewish household is always followed by a little bit of wine and schnapps. And so very Orthodox in Brooklyn, and my son-in-law, they get a little tipsy on Purim. They drink and they give to each other bottles of wine, and you'll see, it's a very nice custom. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, if you want to locate this, I gave you the pages from Lev Shalem and Sim Shalom to see the whole Birkat Hamazon, but it's too much to take in one time. I did it once before with a class, and it takes a lot of time. This is what's called the first bracha, the first blessing, and it is about God feeding. There it goes again. Let them leave a message. It's about God feeding us, the creatures of his creation. Diane, you are muted. Okay, so the beginning, it says Birkat Hamazon is the grace recited following a meal. Birkat Hamazon has many sections.
Oops.
She froze.
In this paragraph, we thank God for providing food for mankind and for all creatures he has created. The last sentence says, praised are you, O Lord, who feeds all. So it's all about food and sustenance, and that's what the vocabulary is all about. So you might know the melody for this because you've heard it when there are meals in the synagogue, or you've been to a wedding or a bar mitzvah. So it goes something like this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hazan et haolam kulo b'tuvo bechen bechesed uvrachamim. Does that sound familiar? Yes. So you might even know this by heart because you do this, so many times that you begin to learn it. And when you have a meal in the synagogue, they always give the little benches out. The men's club has a card that's laminated. If you go to a wedding, they sometimes have a whole booklet of all kinds of songs, shirim and brachot, and they're fancy. And so those are called benchers. Benchers are not benches. They are books with blessings for different occasions, like the wedding blessings or whatever it is. Okay, so let's go over this line. The first line, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Okay, who would like to read line 2? I'll say it first so you can just check yourself. It's Hazan et haolam kulo b'tuvo. Okay, Denise?
Azan et ha'olam kulo betovo.
B'tuvo, okay.
B'tuvo,
So
b'tuvo.
Hazan would sustains the world, the whole world, ha'olam kulo, with his goodness, b'tuvo. Okay, line 3, somebody want to read it? Line 3, Nancy, why don't you read line 3?
I'm reading in Lev Shalom, so it's still part of line 2. But anyway, there we go. Bechen,
Bechen,
Oh, yeah, Bechain, Bechesed, Uvrachamim.
You can go on.
Okay, who to vo, no, who notain lechem lechol basar.
Very good, excellent. Does anybody recognize any of the words in those two lines?
Well, let's see.
Chesed, remember that?
The-
What's chesed? Remember the chasidim?
Kindness.
Kindness, compassion. And rachamim, rachamim is like rachmanis, compassion, chesed, kindness, and compassion. Okay, notain is gives, he gives. What is lechem?
Bread.
Bread,
Bread.
he gives bread, and bread is like the universal word for food, right? Bread.
Right.
L'chol basar, basar. I told you my story once when I was a kid and I looked on the butcher's window and I was learning Hebrew and I thought it said kosher butcher, kasher basar. I figured basar. Who knew Hebrew, modern Hebrew? What does basar really mean?
Meat.
Meat. So the sign outside the butcher that we went to said kasher basar. Only when I went to Ulpan many years later did I say, what an idiot I was. It said kosher meat. Didn't say kosher butcher. So we learn. Okay. So he gives to everybody bread, to all meat. And it means to all living creatures. Okay, to all creatures. Who would like to read the next two lines? Dorothy, how about you? Line 5 and 6.
Or Ki leolam hasdo.
What does
Ooh.
that mean? Kili olam chasto. We say that a lot in
What we do?
that is in Simchat Torah, and we'll see in Passover. Kili olam chasto. Anyone know what it means? Well, you see the root there of chesed. So chasto, when there's that vowel, the vav on the end, the o vowel, it means his mercy, his kindness. Chasdo, from chesed shalom. And that le'olam is forever. Le'olam va'ed means forever and ever. So because forever is his mercy, his kindness. Keep going.
Usuvo hagadol hamid lo hasar lanu.
Right. So in the word tuvo, you see tuv. What is tuv or tov?
Good.
Good. And in his goodness, you see the vav at the end? That is a possessive pronoun meaning his. And be, in, tuv, goodness, the o, his. And in his goodness, hagadol, what kind of goodness?
Is the
Great.
big.
Great, and with his great goodness, tamid, forever, always, lo chasar lanu, nothing is lacking to us. It's not lacking to us. Chasar means is lacking. So, and in his great goodness, nothing is lacking to us. In other words, we have food. We are being nourished and sustained. Okay, so this is a very upbeat blessing. It's a blessing, don't forget. So we're saying nice things here. Okay. So uftuvo hagadol tamid lo chasar lanu, lines 7 and 8. Elizabeth, are you with us? If you are, I see your picture, but you are on mute. I don't know if you're working or not. Okay. Francine, 7 and 8.
Baal. Yes. Yes. Yachsar.
Yes.
Yachsar. Lanu. Mazon. Leolam va'ed.
And there's that word mazon. Okay. And 8.
Ba'avur. Shemo. Hagadol.
Ba'avur means because of. Shemo. So if the O on the end means his, it's a possessive. What does Shemo mean?
Name.
Whose name?
God's name. His
Right.
name.
His name. The O on the vav with the dot is O vowel, remember? So Shemo doesn't mean God's a Shemo. It says his name, Ba'avor Shemo Hagadol.
It's a great
Okay,
name.
you know, about pronunciation is funny. I don't know if I told you, but a student in my ESL class was having trouble with the word. I think I told you this with saying the word utensil, and they kept saying utensil, utensil, and I finally got, because in Spanish it's utensilios, and I finally said, listen to me. You're going to learn this once and for all. Me tensile, utensil.
And they got it.
That was the best that I could do.
My husband says jokes like that all the time.
I think they got it. You have to resort to drastic measures in teaching sometimes. I don't think they forgot it. But Avor Shemo HaGadol. Okay, now we have the last couple of lines, 9 and 10. Diane.
He who ails on Farname? No, yeah.
It's a samech,
Oh, that's what I thought. Farnace,
correct?
La Cole,
Okay, because he is God, he is a sustaining God, and he supports everyone. Next line.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm writing this down. All right, sorry, I always write down the English underneath.
Good.
Umetiv, La Cole, Umekeen, Mazone, La Cole.
The chol. Remember that word? It's always call and chol. That's an exception, and that's always pronounced like the awesome. Umetiv lakol, and he does good for all. Umechin, and he prepares food, mazon, lachol, for all. It's
Mhm.
all about food. Don't forget, this is Birkat HaMazon. What do you expect it to be about?
Mm.
It's all about God supplying food. And that's the first bracha. And you know, the first of anything is usually the most important. Like the first paragraph of an article in the newspaper, it gives you everything, who, what, where, why, and when. And when they have to cut the article, my son was an editor of a newspaper, you cut the last couple of paragraphs. You cut the end. The beginning has everything, and the least important stuff is at the end, usually, if it's a good writer. You follow the rules of, you know, of newspaper.
Journalism, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and umetiv lakol, umechin mazon lakol, lechol beriotav, to all creatures, asher bara, that he created. Baruch atah Adonai Hazan, blessed is God, who nourishes et hakol. And hakol really means like all. So it's the animals to creatures. All creatures would be, you know, in Genesis, you've got the 6 days of creation, and the birds and the insects and all living beings. You know, and I guess the plants too are living. I talk to my plants and trees. You know, we have the atmosphere for those things. We have rain, so everything's interconnected. Now, does anyone want to do a solo and sing this part? You probably know this. A lot of you said you know it. This whole first part. So this is not the very first part of the Birkat HaMazon. It's there is a part before that. Let me just see. Okay, I have it out. Okay. So the very beginning it's the invitation to bless. So the leader says, Chaverai, my friends, or Chaverotai, my friend or my friends, Nivarech, let us bless. And then everybody says, Yehi Shem Adonai Mivarach Me'atavi Adolam. And the leader says, Yehi Shem Adonai Mivarach Me'atavi Adolam. Birshut Chaverai She'achalnu Mishelo, that we ate something. Okay, and then we go Baruch She'achalnu Mishelo U'tuvo Chayinu, and by his goodness we are alive. You know, we are fed. And the leader Baruch She'achalnu Mishelo U'tuvo Chayinu. So there's a lot of call and repeat, which is in a lot of prayers. You can do Ashrei that way. Cantor says one line, congregation another. Some people do it that way. And then everyone says Baruch Hu Uvaruch Shemo. And then they go into the first blessing. which is God feeding us, okay? That's what it says, even in Lev Shalem, it says, the first bracha, God feeds all, okay? Doesn't matter who you are, where you are. So who wants to sing this? Anybody want to sing this? Any duets here?
I'll do it.
Oh, Nancy, she steps up to the plate.
And Francine, yes?
No, we'll do it together.
Oh, I
That's what I
love
mean.
it.
Yes, yes. Okay. You ready?
Baruch
Baruch
atah
atah Adonai
Eloheinu
Eloheinu
melech
melech haolam hazan
et
et haolam kulo metulo bechesed bechesed u'rachamim u'noten lehem lachol basar ki leolam
Giliolam chasto.
u'tuvo hagado tamid lo chased lanu ve'al
Yechsar lanu.
yechar lanu mazon leolam va'ed. I've lost the tune.
Yeah, me too.
Ba'avur shemo
Shemo
hagadol
hagadol.
ki hu
Elzan umfarnes lako. Hi, Elizabeth.
umetiv la
Elizabeth,
Ko mechin mazon lechol beriotav asher bara
Baruch
ata Adonai hazan et hakol. Yopi, yopi, wonderful. Okay. Anybody else want to do a solo, Denise?
No, I don't know the song, but I have a question. Hazan is the word that we use for our cantor, correct?
But that's not the
Correct.
same thing. That
Okay.
chazan. This is, yes, that is. And I don't know why. Because the word chazan doesn't have anything to do with singing or leading. But chazan, if you look in the dictionary, means sustains, nourishes, feeds.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
And it's used correctly in this blessing for food in the
Right.
Birkat Hamazon. And it's not Hazan, it's Chazan with a CH. So that's a good question for you to ask your Chazan. I'll
Okay.
ask him tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow in the services. I'll say, Chazan, are you a nourisher?
Yeah, I'm going to see him tonight.
It nourishes, maybe one who nourishes our soul with music. You know, music soothes the savage breast. It's not beast. That's an incorrect translation. It really should be
breast.
music soothes the savage breast. And a lot of people misquote it. I don't remember what poem that's from, but that's the original. Okay, so we're good with this? Any words here that you don't know? So Mechin prepares, and there's a lot of with food and preparing, and you didn't fail us, and mazon. Mazon itself means nourishment. That's what a food bank is for, giving out nourishment, which is a really nice thing. Okay, so much for the beginning of your Hamazon. Now, I'm going to do a little game with you, a little finding game. So take the next thing I want to do is get the paper for the prayer for the state of Israel. And on the bottom, I had put some vocabulary. I sent that to you twice. But it doesn't matter. Anytime, you can always use your Siddur. It's the same text. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I had given you the pages. Let's see if I can find the pages for the prayer. for the
It's
state.
178 in Lev.
In which book?
Lev Shalom.
Lev Shalem. Okay, 178. Okay. So the prayer for the state of Israel, let me get to that page too. 178. Okay, it's at the top. Okay, so this is after the Haftorah, and then there's a few prayers that we say in English, right? Prayer for the state of Israel. The words here, there's a lot of words that I think you know from other prayers. So what I did was I wrote them down, and some of them are right here on the paper that I gave you, okay, and it has a vocabulary. I've done a lot of cut and paste in my life. Okay, so I am going to ask you, on the thing I gave you, I numbered starting with the first line, Avinu, up to line 7. So I want you to do this as some sight vocabulary. So I picked words which I think you can start picking out now. All right, and I want you to tell me what line they occur. The first one is, where do you see Medinat Yisrael? Medinat Yisrael means the state of Israel.
The top line.
The top
Okay.
line,
And what is a tefillah?
prayer.
Prayer. Lishlom,
For peace.
for
To
peace. Medinat Yisrael. So in Hebrew it says tefillah, lishlom, Medinat Yisrael, a prayer for peace for the state of Israel. Now, Israel is referred to in several ways. People say Medinat Yisrael. Medinat actually means state of Israel. That would refer more to the political entity of Israel with its government. The other way people refer to it is Eretz Yisrael. That would refer to the land of Israel, the biblical land, the actual geographical, the land where people live, where they sojourned, where they did live, when they came across the Jordan River and they settled in Eretz Yisrael. But it wasn't a political entity until 1948 when it became a real country, right? Medinat Yisrael, the state, the political state of Israel. And those who are Israelis would say, I am going to Ani ba'a la'aretz. I just came from ha'aretz, the land. And so one might say, well, which land did you come from? Ukraine? Did you come from France? Did you come from Vienna? Where did you come from? But amongst Israelis and those who know Hebrew well, ha'aretz is, there's only one land. It's Israel. Can't be any other place. Ha'aretz, the land. Okay, the Holy Land. They don't say no more. Everyone understands each other. They know what you're talking about. Okay, it's almost like speaking in code, right? It's an in kind of thing. All right. So the next word that I have is, where do you find the word sur? Does anyone remember what sur? Sur Yisroel, Koma Be'ezra Yisroel, what?
The rock.
Rock, rock,
Oh,
rocky.
wow.
On the second
Right.
line, third word.
Okay, second line, third word.
Just
No,
before Yisrael.
Sorry,
Sur.
Israel.
Yisrael.
Um,
I mean, it's the first line. You know.
Line
yeah,
1.
the first,
Yeah.
right. Avinu Sheba
Sheba
Shemayim,
Shemayim,
Sur Yisrael,
Sur
rock.
Yisrael.
And remember Rock of Ages?
Right, right.
Okay, so Rock of Ages. Okay, where do you see the word? Now, we're going to see 3 commands, but you should by now recognize the roots of these commands, okay? Because the shoresh is 3 Hebrew letters. And in the commands, there's 3 words, there's 3 letters. Where do you see Bareh? No, I think there might be something going on with Michelle. I don't know if something happened. Listen.
Line 1 toward the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bareh. Now, what do you think the command is?
Praise. Baruch.
Not pray,
Praise.
Please.
Baruch.
bless, because in Baruch Atah Adonai, blessed,
Bless.
but thou Lord our God. Bareh. Okay, so that's blessed. All right, good. That's on line 1. Where do you see Hagain? And what do you think that means? Hagain, like from Magain David?
Shield.
That
It's
line,
line
Like
two next
Magen
to the
David, the
last
shield of
word.
David. Good. Hagen. Where do we see
Line
that?
2 next to the last word.
yep,
Okay, right.
Here.
Line 2. Hagen Aleha. Good. So we had Barech is blessed. Hagen is shield. Very good. And where do you see Shalach?
The next line, the second to the last word.
Right, Ushalach
Ushlach.
Orcha. Okay, so when we have Purim coming up, Shalach Manot,
Mhm.
or some people say Lishloach Manot. What's Shalach? It's the sending of packages of food. Shalach is send, Shalach. Okay, so we have Barech, bless, Hagen is shield, and Shalach, send. Okay, where do we find the phrase, the shelter of your peace? Shelter of your peace. In this case, the shelter is a sukkah.
Right before that,
Line-
or the
line 3.
Line
Yeah.
3. Sukkot, that's the sukkah. Shlomecha. Don't forget a sukkah is something that shields us from the outside. And we're supposed to feel shielded by God's presence outdoors. And we build this little hut. So Sukkot, the sukkah of Shlomecha, the sukkah of your peace. Okay, very nice. The shelter of your peace. Okay, and where is the command strengthen? Make strong. So you have at the end of well, in Joshua it says chazak be'ematz.
Something nice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So chazek, like chazak, v'nit chazek. At the end of the book, in the end of a book, okay, of the Torah, it's you say chazak v'nit chazak, and the person who's reading the seventh Aliyah says it's the same thing. Chazak v'nit chazek. Okay,
Line
so
6.
so that means chazak is strong. As a command, it means strengthen. So it means strengthen, chazak, strengthen, strength, v'nit chazek, and we will strengthen ourselves. After each book of the Torah, that's what's said. Good. Let's see what I have. This is a good one. Lasting joy. Think of what a happy occasion is. Thank you for inviting me to your,
Simcha.
okay, so where do you find this everlasting joy?
Line 7, is it?
Yes? V'simchat olam. Olam is forever, right? And everlasting joy. So it's really nice. So we are going to read the whole thing, Tefillah L'Shalom Medinat Yisrael. Okay, prayer. And so the vocabulary, this is a very nice translation. Our Father in heaven, rock and redeemer of the people Israel, bless the state of Israel with its promise of redemption. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Or is light, and emet is truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say amen. I really like that blessing. Our cantor has a nice melody. I'll sing a little bit, see if this sounds familiar. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'goalo. And he repeats, Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'goalo. Baresh et Medinat Yisrael. Reshit smichat geulatenu. Hagen alecha bevrat chastecha. Ufros alecha sukat shlomecha. And then there's a lot of repeat. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So he does,
Mhm.
yes, Denise
No.
says yes. Okay, our Cantor does this one every Shabbat,
Yeah.
And-
actually,
and there's a lot of repetition, except the melody doesn't extend to the very last part. The chazek, I think when he says that. Chazek et yedei megine eretz kodshenu. All right, why don't we read this? Because I want you to start practicing fluency. Reading is really important. Okay, we're just gonna go down the way I see you. Francine, line 1, Avinu.
Avinu Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael, V'goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael.
Good. Okay, line 2, Dorothy.
what is the thing in parenthesis, by the way?
Uh, that there may be, Shetehei, that there may be. It just fills in grammatically. You know,
Oh,
so
okay, okay. Ray sheet. Simi tat. Gila henu. Gila
okay, so when there's a shva under the first letter, it would be like
Oh, good.
G,
Gila.
and the
Tenu?
next aleph is silent. You have geula tenu.
Oh, I wrote all over it and it's hard for me to read it. Gu'u aleinu.
Geula tenu.
Hatenu, yes, I'm sorry. Hagan aleha.
Hagain.
Aleha.
Okay,
Um,
let's get all right, Denise, can you take the next line? The Evrat.
Be'evrat hasdecha uf rish
Rose, ufros.
ufros
Okay, the dot on the shin is on the left.
ufros, right? Okay.
It's no sin to have a
Aleha.
dot on the left, but it is a sin.
Aleha, Sukat, Shalom, Shalomecha,
Very good.
Ushelach, Ushla, or is it Ushela?
Ushlach.
Ushlach, Orecha.
Orcha, and send your light. Okay, who's up the next line? Diane?
Va'amitcha lirosh. I wrote all over mine too. Lirosh. I can't see what's underneath that. Lirosh
Sheha.
sheha. I wrote over that vowel. Sareha. V'yo aseha. V'tak name. Be'esa tova.
Very nice reading. Okay, next one. Okay, come on, Charlene.
Me,
Meal.
Mal, yeah,
Meal.
thank you. Mal.
Not mal. There's a dot. E my feet. There's that little mouse under your feet. E. Me. Meal.
Milfi,
Fa.
Fun,
It's a nun.
Noon, yeah,
Ne.
Neck,
And the final chap.
Mila, Fi, Nu,
Meal. Fa. Ne. The yod is silent. Cha.
Ifanecha. heard
Panim
that.
is your face. Lifnei means like in front of your panim. So mil panecha means in front of you. Mil panecha.
Milfanecha,
Mhm.
milfanecha.
Mhm. It's a chet.
Yeah. But then it looks like the middle letters is Zion.
It is. And forget the dot
Oh,
in the
it
middle.
is.
It
It
is a
makes
Zion.
Oh, because it wouldn't make sense to me. Although,
Cha,
Hezekah.
cha. The one straight across, it's a cha.
Yeah, I know. The tongue didn't work right. Ata.
Cha. Okay, how do you pronounce the Zion?
Oh, I was on to the next word.
Okay, but we didn't do this one. That was milfanecha before you, and it's cha, and the next letter is a Zion.
A Zion,
What's-
right?
So what's the sound of a Zion?
A Z.
Good. So
Like a Z.
and then the two dots, that's a tsere. There's a
Ah.
sound. So you have to put the first
Hazak.
hazay,
Hazek.
zay, and that's a kuf on the end.
Right. Hazek.
Correct. Chazek.
Hazek.
That's it. Keep going.
Okay. Silent.
Now, three dots are
F. Geez, I don't see
Et.
3 dots. Et.
Well, they're there. Et.
I believe you. Et. Yo.
You know what, Charlene, would make this easier for you? If I send something out and you print it out, you run it off. If you're gonna be in the synagogue office, go to the printer and enlarge it.
Okay,
And I think that
that's a
will
good
help. a lot.
idea.
Yeah. So it's milpanecha chazek et
Et. Yo.
that's a dalet after the yud.
Yeah. I was trying to see the vowel underneath it.
Mm-hmm. Two dots.
Yo
Side by
day.
side. Yaday,
Yudea.
yaday.
Yo day. Okay, then it's and mem. Mem.
Okay, mem. The name of the letter has a sound of the letter. Mem.
Mem. Yeah.
But you can't say mem. You have to say the sound. M.
Yeah. Like an M sound.
Exactly. Next is a gimel.
Megani. Megane.
Me. Gi.
Nie.
Nay.
Gine.
Okay. The next word should look familiar. It means land.
Eretz.
Good, Eretz. And this means your holy land.
Kad.
Our holy land. Eretz. The kuf and the or. Kod. Kod.
Kadosh.
No, there's no, there's kod. That's the end of the syllable. Kod.
Kad Shanu.
Shenu. Kod shenu.
Kachenu.
That's a vav.
Yeah. The
The.
ha
That's a nun.
nun. Yeah.
The han.
The han ha
Chi.
lum.
The yud
Hey.
is silent.
Hey lum.
Lame. The han chi lame. I suggest you just go back
Yeah.
and review the vowels a little bit. So this is what it says, and look at it. Mil fanecha chazek et yedei migine eretz kod shenu v'han chilem. Okay, Elizabeth, can you take the next line?
Okay. Eloheinu Yeshua Be'ateret Nitzachon
V'ateret
Ateret
v'ateret
Ateret Nitzachon Te'at rim.
Good.
Benatata,
Natata, excellent.
shalom.
Very nice. Nancy, finish it, please.
Be'eretz, let's think. Be'eretz,
Actually, it says
Be'eretz.
Aretz.
Oh, Be'aretz, you're right. Be'aretz, Ve'simchat,
Mm-hmm.
Olam,
Good.
Leyoshbecha,
Very good.
Venomar Amen.
What does that mean at the end, Vinomar Amen?
And we say Amen.
And let us say, so the nun at the
Yeah.
beginning of the word of a verb means us. Let us, no more. We will say, Amen, let it be so. Okay,
Okay, there are a bunch of words in here, and Elizabeth just read one right up above it. It's like they have two vowels, and how do you know which one it is? And
the one in the middle, forget about, that's just like for exaggeration to make it stronger.
so under
Just
the
stick to the
study
vowels that you know.
on the bottom, the ones on the bottom.
Yeah, the ones on the bottom,
Nitzahim,
like the shva, if the shva is under a letter at the beginning of a word, then that has an like v.
right?
And at the end, the silent one, the silent shva, the not one, is at the end of a syllable. So you don't hear anything. So let's see where there's one silent shva. Okay,
Ba'ateret,
so mil panecha. So the first syllable is mil. You don't have any sounded vowel under the lamed. It's silent shva. It's the end of the
Okay.
syllable. Mil, fa,
Yeah.
necha, and the yud
Okay.
is silent.
Okay, so
Panecha.
whenever there's a little yud in the middle, you just ignore it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so that was the second thing. And the third thing I wanted to do, so far we're cooking. We got 2 out of the 3 so far. Now, February 5th, that's I think next Sunday or something like that next week, because we just had the prayer last week for Shvat. Now, does anyone know what the name of the holiday of trees means, Tu B'Shvat? Do you know what that actually means? Okay.
the
15th.
number
Something about 7.
15.
What, or 15?
Something about 15. Okay,
Okay.
so you know that every letter has a numerical equivalent. So if you count, Tet is Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zion, which I know I used to teach. That was the 7th grade. Zion, Het, 8, Tet, 9. Okay. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zion, Het, Tet. I have 9 fingers, 9 letters. Okay, it is an acronym. The Tet, and now we have U vowel,
Right,
the Vav with the dot in the middle. I remember me punching you in the stomach, you go, ooh, right? Oh, dot above is oh, my head, dot in the middle is ooh, my stomach. And the dot by my feet is like a little mouse, my feet. So it's ooh, oh. Okay, so the Tet next to the Vav is the sound of 2. 2 is not a word in Hebrew. 2 is what someone was saying about the 15th. So Tet stands for 9. Vav. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav. The Vav class was always the 6th grade, and I taught 7th grade, which was Zion. So the 9 and 6 numerically is 15. So the 2 part is only a numerical combination. They put it together and they sound it, but it's not a word. It's not ever going to be found in any dictionary. It's not a word. It stands for the 15th. Be means in, and Shvat is the name of the month.
Mhm.
So the holiday Tu B'Shvat, which is New Year, it's Yom it's Rosh Hashanah La Ilanim or La Eitzim. It is a new year for trees, but the name of the holiday has become Tu B'Shvat, the 15th of the Hebrew month of Shvat. And now you know something that a lot of other people don't know. They think it's a word too. You can look yourself crazy trying to find the word "to" in the dictionary, or they may say it means 15 for those poor people who haven't given up yet. Okay. So The song that is very popular is when we're teaching, when I was always teaching about Tu B'Shvat, we'd look out the window and it would be snowing. And I would be teaching them about the beginning of spring in Israel. It was always, and talking about Tu B'Shvat, I had a way to make an almond tree with newspaper. I took newspapers and I put one on top of another and made a roll and it cut down and then I pulled it up from the middle and it looked like a palm tree. That was a little craft we used to do. I'm not that crafty a person, but that was fun. And all of a sudden you pull this tube up and you have, looks like all these leaves on a tree. That was mine. And then we would take branches. I tell them, go and take branches that are dead branches and bring, and I were in cotton balls and pink and yellow paint. And we would put the cotton balls on the dead branch. And I'd give them some clay, so they would put the branch in the clay. Now we have this dead branch and put cotton balls all over it and paint them. And voila, our 7th grade room was like a field of almond trees. The kids liked it. What can I tell you? It was fun. Okay, so the first word, hashkedia, I wrote these words out for you. Hashkedia, ha is the shkedia, shaked is an almond. Shkedim, almonds. Hashkedia is the name of the almond tree. This is a song about an almond tree because it's the first one to bloom in the spring in Israel. And spring always comes in the winter in US. It's blowing and snowing, and we're talking about spring. So Hashkedia porachat means is flowering. The almond tree is flowering. Hashkedia porachat. Shemesh. Does anyone know the word shemesh?
Is it rain?
Shemesh, no.
Heaven?
Shemesh is the sun.
The sun.
Oh, that's
Sun.
right.
The shemesh, paz, golden, the golden sun, zorachat, is shining. Hashkedia porachat, v'shemesh paz zorachat. And then my Hebrew name, Tziporim, birds, tweet, tweet.
That's my Hebrew name
Oh,
also.
Francine, that's good. We are blood brothers. Okay, Tziporim, Tzipor is one, Tziporim, birds. From May, Rosh. What does Rosh mean?
Ed.
Dead.
The head or the top. So birds from the top, call Gog. Fiddler on the Gog.
Roof.
What's Gog?
Roof.
Fiddler on the roof. Tziporim, birds from the top of every tree. Mivas wrote, announce, tweet, tweet, tweet. Et, you don't translate, it's just before direct object. Mivas wrote. Et, because Tziporim, why is it Mivas wrote? They made them feminine birds. Well, Tzipora, yeah. Mivas wrote. Et bo, the beginning of He Chag, the holiday. The birds announce the beginning of spring in Israel. So if you went, I guess at Pesach time, you will see the beginning, you will see the trees in bloom. It's like going to Washington and seeing the cherry blossoms. It's a very small window to see those cherry blossoms. I've yet to see them. Has anyone ever seen them? And I
Oh,
think the
yeah.
cherry blossoms are pretty much, what color are they? Pink?
Pink.
Yeah, probably like the flowering of the cherry blossoms in Washington, DC probably look a lot like the flowering of the almond trees in Israel, right? So then is the chorus, Tu B'Shvat, and now you see that two is just a numerical combination. Be in Shvat, Tu B'Shvat, the 15th of the Hebrew month of Shvat. Tu B'Shvat Higia arrived. Tu B'Shvat Higia, Chag HaIlanot. Now we know trees are eitzim. Eitz, right? Eitz Chaim Hi Lamachazikim Ba. Okay. So there's another word for tree. It happens to be a very popular name for boys and girls. Ilan, our Cantus son's name is Ilan. And another popular name is the feminine version, Ilana. Have you ever heard those names, Ilan and Ilana? Okay.
Cantor also has a son, Elon.
Really? It was very popular at the beginning of the state of Israel for people to trade in their Polish and shtetl names, Russian and Polish names, and adopt Hebrew names. And mainly the Hebrew names were associated with nature, like tree or different flowers. I think different, like Shoshana is rose and Bered and all the names that have.
Son of a lion.
Yeah, Ben Gurion, he became a son of a lion. So a lot of those words have to do with flowers and plants and birds, Zipporah, and, all right, and Ilana. I did a whole talk for my sisterhood once about Hebrew names and the different categories, what they mean, what they stand for. So we have Tu B'Shvat Higia, Tu B'Shvat has arrived. Chag, the holiday of trees, Ilanot. Tu B'Shvat Higia, Chag HaIlanot. So nice. Okay, so let's see if we can sing it. I'll do one line at a time and sing it after me, right? Hashkedia porachat. Hashkedia porachat. V'shemesh pazorachat. V'shemesh pazorachat. Siporim merosh kol gag. Siporim merosh kol gag. Mivas wrote et bo hechag. Mivas wrote et bo hechag. Now the chorus. Tu b'shvat higia. Tu b'shvat higia. Chag ha'ilanot. Tu b'shvat higia. Chag ha'ilanot. So you can go over to your cantor and say, I can sing a song in Hebrew. For Tu B'Shvat.
Not quite,
You want to
but-
hear it?
Yeah.
You want to hear me solo? Let's do it again. We'll do it slowly. We'll sing together. Ready from the top. Achat, shtayim, shalosh. That means 1, 2, 3. Hashkedia porachat. V'shemesh hazorachat. Siporim merosh kol gag. Mivas wrote et bo hechag. Chorus. Tu b'shvat higia. Chag ha'ilanot. Again. Tu b'shvat higia. Chag ha'ilanot. Now, I'm not a betting person, but I would bet that every Hebrew music teacher in every Hebrew school is teaching this song to their students right now. This Sunday, they'll be teaching this song about the almond tree, and it might snow wherever you live. Who lives in a snowy area? Anybody expecting snow? Where are you, Dorothy? So I'm in Long Island, and I don't think it's going to snow this Sunday. But anyway, that's about the almond tree. And then there's another one which is fun, which is Atzei Zeitim Omdim. Atzei Zeitim Omdim. Atzei is the trees of Zeitim, are olives. The olive trees are standing. Atzei Zeitim Omdim. Atzei Zeitim Omdim. And the chorus is la 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 la. This is real hard. La 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 la. La 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 la. Atzei Zeitim Omdim. Atzei Zeitim Omdim. And that's the olive trees are standing. I guess in the olive groves. I don't know what I never saw an olive tree sit. So I guess they have to stand. So those are fun songs for Tu B'Shvat. Has anyone ever gone to a Tu B'Shvat Seder?
Yes.
I used to always do a Tu B'Shvat Seder with my 7th grade kids. And there are 7 growing things in Israel. There's Ramon, there's pomegranate and barley and wheat and olives and grapes. And so I would assign kids to bring something in. So for wheat, they would bring in wheat crackers, and then we'd go and they would get a Ramon, a pomegranate, and they would bring in some olives and grapes. Those are easy to get. So the one that with the barley. So where are you gonna get the barley? So someone once brought in some rokeach barley soup. And I opened it up and
funny,
we
you can buy
ate
it.
it cold, the barley. So those are all the different kinds, the Shiva Minim. And they are represented at a Tu B'Shvat Seder, all those kinds of things. And usually what the rabbi does is he'll have a whole collection of unusual fruits. He'll have a dragon fruit and, you know, all different kinds of fruits because Tu B'Shvat, it celebrates the growing things in Eretz Yisrael. So you can have any kind. There is in the Seder, which means order. So in the Tu B'Shvat Seder, there's a time when you have like into white wine. The white wine step is represents winter, and then you put a little bit of red wine, and that's spring. And then you take some real red wine, just red wine, that's summer. And the fall, you put a little white in the red, and it gets a little bit lighter. That's like a rosé, and that's the fall. Sounds like a drinking fest, doesn't it? You just get a little bit, and then you sample. Then there's different categories of fruits. Fruits like an orange and a grapefruit that have a peel, and you eat the inside. Something like a banana, that's one. There's another kind that you eat everything like that have a pit in the middle, like a peach and an apricot. And so you don't eat the middle, you eat the outside. That's reverse instead of, okay. And then there's some that I think like berries and things, you eat everything, you eat the skin too. Right, so like the pomegranate, you have to peel off the skin. You don't eat the peel from the pomegranate, right? So you have
No.
the different kinds of fruits, and they talk about those, and they sing the songs, and they say blessings for the trees and Israel. It's a very nice holiday. It's an agricultural holiday that used to be celebrated when after the diaspora and the Jews were all over the place. And the thing was, they were remembering the Holy Land and what in biblical times grew in the Holy Land. So that was a way of a memory. And yeah, Denise.
We did one on, believe it or not, on Zoom. There's a group of us women that get together once a month at the synagogue, and we talk about different Jewish issues or traditions and stuff. So this one Tu B'Shvat, we all got together on Zoom. We all brought our fruit and our whatever we were supposed to bring, and we said
Did
the
you bring
blessing.
wine?
We had wine, yes. It was the middle of the afternoon, but some people brought wine. I brought vermouth. And it was lovely. There were about 8 of us, and it was just lovely. We sat and talked, and the woman that ran it is a chaplain, a Jewish chaplain. So she read some prayers for us, and it was lovely.
Yeah. So they sing songs, you know, these songs about the growing things, and they have the different things. I have a booklet that's really cool. It's Seder for Tu B'Shvat. It's Tu B'Shvat Seder, and there's things that you say, like when you take the wine, the different colors of the wine and the different fruits, and you say things about the land. It's very nice. Like I said, I did a lot of shtick in Hebrew school, a lot of those kinds of things to get the kids. They like doing things. So anything that I could do that was a hands-on kind of thing, I would do. And the holidays, fortunately, gave me a backdrop upon which to do these things, you know, crafts and stuff. And, you know, when Passover comes, you make a little matzah cover out of a handkerchief, and, you know, and you use markers, indelible markers. And, you know, there were, and you can put lace around the edge, do all kinds of ways to do crafts with them, and something that could take home and keep. But I loved when I did the rolled up newspaper, and then whoosh, and then the thing was like a tree. It's really a lot of fun. So next week maybe I'll continue with Birkat Hamazon, because anytime you go to like a synagogue luncheon or something like that, synagogue dinners, you are going to finish up with the Birkat Hamazon, and those who know it will sing it very fast. And the kids who are in the youth groups, like there's one thing where they put sour cream, you know, they have some funny things, you know, and then they bang on the table. Do you ever go to an event and they bang on the table?
Yes.
They go, Baruch atah Adonai, bam, bam, Eloheinu melech haolam, hazan et haolam kulo v'tulo, b'chein b'chesed u'rachamim, and the kids in the youth group would say sour cream, u'rachamim, and they would say sour cream. Yeah, they would add in those funny things. So Okay, well. Is there any, I know that, Charlene, next week I'll go over the Vav and the Av and the U. I'll go over those, vowels, those are the weirdo vowels, the combination, the Vav and the Yud, which makes an Av sound. I also want to go over the different forms of Elohim. So Elohim is God. Now it's in the plural. I will go over possessive endings with you so that you'll have a little more of a handle on Hebrew grammar. And I will show you examples of it. Okay, so,
Wanted to say something real quick. I just finished reading a good book that I can suggest, and this is the first time I've ever done it. I read the new book by Maggie Anton called The Choice.
oh, I haven't read, I didn't know that she had one.
Yeah, it's brand new. In fact, she's going to speak to our women's league group on the 19th, I think it is. But she actually came into the office and dropped some off, and we're selling them in our lobby. But it starts out talking about very Orthodox Judaism and how women should not learn how to read the Talmud. And then it goes into the story, and I don't want to give too much of it away, but
Is
the
this
teacher
a
and the student-
novel? Or is it-
Yeah, but it's a lot of history in there, and there's a lot of Hebrew Yiddish words that are in there, and there's a glossary in the back for if you don't remember what the word is. And it's like over 300 pages long, so we're not talking anything little. But she wrote Rashi's Daughters and several other books. So it's, I think it's at Amazon. You can get it too.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
it's a,
Rashi's Daughters is a trilogy. I read all of them.
yeah.
And then she did Rav Chista's daughter. And there was another one. There were two about Rav Chista. One was about like magic and sorcery, which is in Jewish tradition. That they would take a pottery, they would, and when you would be building a new house, and they would put a blessing in the ground, when they would start to put up a house. And then there were curses too, that people would come to certain women who were skilled in this. And they would put a curse on a piece of, like ostraka, a piece of clay. And I don't know if they would give it to the person, but they would hold it, kind of like a witch doll, something like a Haitian type of thing,
I have to go, Carol.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, okay, so Shabbat Shalom. I'll see you
Shabbat
next
shalom.
Shalom, everybody.
Okay, to be
Shabbat
continued.
shalom,
Okay,
everybody.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good
Thank you.
weekend.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Carol.